Slavery, a word that echoes through the annals of history, carrying with it the weight of millions of lives. From the earliest civilizations to modern times, slavery has been a complex and tragic part of humanity's story. But how did it begin? And what role did technology play in its rise and eventual abolition? This is the history of slavery, as seen through the lens of artificial intelligence. Prisoners of war were the most common source of slaves in these early societies. In Egypt, for example, slaves were often used to build monumental structures, including the pyramids. While the conditions were harsh, the scale of slavery in these ancient civilizations was not yet as vast as what would come centuries later. However, it was during the age of European exploration in the 15th century that slavery expanded in ways previously unimaginable. The transatlantic slave trade, one of the most brutal chapters in human history, began to take shape. European powers, driven by the quest for wealth in the New World, turned to Africa for an endless supply of labor. Over the next 4 centuries, millions of Africans were forcibly taken from their homes and shipped to the Americas under horrendous conditions. The Middle Passage, the journey from Africa to the Americas, was infamous for its brutality. Most of those on board the ships never survived the journey. In the Americas, slavery became the backbone of the plantation economy. In the southern United States, the Caribbean, and Brazil, enslaved people were forced to work on sugar, tobacco, and cotton plantations. The labor of these individuals was essential to the prosperity of the colonies, and later, the early industrial life for the enslaved was grueling. They faced harsh working conditions, little to no rights, and the constant threat of punishment or separation from their families. The institution of slavery, built on the dehumanization of African people, persisted for centuries. Economies. Life for the enslaved was grueling. Even in the face of such suffering, resistance was inevitable. Enslaved people fought back in countless ways, through uprisings, escapes, and subtle forms of resistance. The Underground Railroad, led by figures like Harriet Tubman, helped thousands of enslaved people find freedom. The abolition movement gained traction in the 18th and 19th centuries as moral outrage against the practice grew. Abolitionists, both black and white, worked tirelessly to end the atrocity. In the United States, the Civil War culminated in the abolition of slavery in 1865 with the passing of the 13th Amendment. Though slavery was officially abolished, its legacy lingers, deeply embedded in global systems of inequality. The fight for racial justice and the lingering effects of systemic racism continue to be seen in modern society, from the civil rights movement to ongoing struggles for racial equity. Today, modern-day slavery still exists in the form of human trafficking, forced labor, and child exploitation. While the technology of our age has brought tremendous progress, the fight for human freedom and dignity continues, as millions are still enslaved in various parts of the world. As we look to the future, it is essential that we never forget the horrors of the past. The abolition of slavery was a victory, but the struggle for justice is ongoing. Together, we must continue to work toward a world where freedom and equality are guaranteed for all.